You know, some secrets don't just get old, they become legends. Today, we're going to dive into a few artifacts and messages that seem to completely defy time itself. You can think of them as glitches in our historical record, these incredible puzzles that really shake the foundation of everything we think we know about our past.
So that's the big question we're tackling, right? Are we just looking at simple errors in the timeline? Or are these clues to a history that is so different from what we've been taught that maybe we're just not ready for it yet? Let's dive in and find out.
All right, let's open up our first case file. This is about an object that was pulled from a shipwreck, and according to, well, everything we know, it just shouldn't exist. We're talking about a piece of technology that seems to be thousands of years ahead of its time. It's called the Antikythera mechanism. So picture this. Way back in 1901, some divers are exploring an old Roman shipwreck, and they find this corroded lump of bronze. At first, everybody just thought it was junk, but as scientists started to carefully clean it and study it, they were just floored. This was no piece of scrap metal. It was an absolutely astonishingly complex machine. Because inside this thing was a system of at least 37 interlocking bronze gears, all working together like some kind of super sophisticated clock. But this machine did way more than just tell time. With a simple turn of a crank, it could figure out the position of the sun and the moon, it could predict eclipses with stunning accuracy, and it even tracked the 4-year cycle for the Olympic Games. I mean, it was literally a 2,000-year-old analog computer. Now look at this timeline. This is what makes this device so completely mind-boggling. After the Antikythera mechanism was lost at sea, nothing, and I mean nothing, even approaching its complexity, showed up again for almost 1,400 years. That's a massive technological gap. And it leaves us with two terrifyingly simple questions. How in the world was this knowledge created in the first place? And maybe more importantly, how was it so completely lost? Okay, for our next case file, we're moving from the depths of the sea all the way to the vast, dry deserts of Peru. And here, we find these incredible creations that were made for an audience that, well, by all logic, shouldn't have been able to see them. These are the famous Nazca lines. And let's be clear, these are not just some small drawings. We are talking about a collection of over 300 enormous figures, or geoglyphs, that are literally etched into the desert floor. They were created by the Nazca people over an 800-year period just by removing the reddish topsoil to show the lighter ground underneath. And this slide right here perfectly illustrates the core mystery. On the left, you've got the view from the ground. To a person just walking by, these lines are just, well, they're meaningless ditches. But on the right, that's the view from the sky. And from above, as pilots first discovered in the 1930s, they become these breathtaking masterpieces: a spider, a monkey, a hummingbird. Some of them are hundreds of feet long. So the question is, how did the Nazca people create these so perfectly without ever being able to see them from this perspective? Which, of course, brings us to the ultimate question. If the creators could never actually see their own finished work, then who were they for? Were these messages for gods up in the sky? Maybe some kind of elaborate astronomical calendar? Or, as some people have suggested, were they meant for someone or something else entirely? Okay, our final case file isn't made of metal or etched into the sand. This one is a mystery of pure information, a secret that's been locked inside a book that has defied every single attempt to understand it. Say hello to the Voynich manuscript. It was discovered back in 1912, and this 240-page book was carbon dated to the early 1400s. But its age is pretty much the only thing we know for sure. The entire book is written in a completely unknown language, using an alphabet that appears absolutely nowhere else on Earth. So as you turn its pages, the first thing you find is this mystery, these really detailed drawings of plants and flowers. But the strange thing is, not a single one of them has ever been identified by botanists. They seriously look like something from another world. And then you keep flipping and you find these astronomical charts. But again, they show constellations and patterns that were totally unknown to medieval Europeans. It's like a map of a sky that we don't even recognize. And then you get to the strangest part, pages that show these figures, mostly women, bathing in these weird green pools, all interconnected by this complex web of tubes. It looks less like a medieval drawing and more like a schematic for some kind of unknown biological or technological process. It's just bizarre. So here's the bottom line. Just like the slide says, for over a century, the world's best code breakers, and yeah, even modern AI,
have completely failed to crack it. Not one single word has been deciphered. So what is it? A lost language? An incredibly elaborate hoax? Or a message we're just not equipped to understand yet?
Okay, so let's just recap for a second. We've got a 2,000-year-old computer, we've got these massive messages meant for someone in the sky, and we have a 600-year-old book in an unbreakable code. What could possibly connect these dots and explain these profound glitches in our history?
Well, because conventional history just doesn't have the answers, some really incredible theories have popped up. Could they point to a lost, highly advanced civilization, like Atlantis? Or maybe they're proof of ancient knowledge that was just forgotten or maybe even suppressed. Some people point to the sky, suggesting they're messages or tech left by extraterrestrial visitors. Others think they're just complex astronomical calendars we don't understand anymore. And of course, there's always the chance that at least one of these is just a brilliant, unsolvable hoax.
So, what does it all really mean? Maybe the point isn't to find one neat little answer that solves every puzzle. Maybe the existence of the puzzles is the point. The fact that the Antikythera theorem mechanism, the Nazca lines, and the Voynich manuscript even exist is proof of one thing. The book of our history has missing pages. I mean, maybe even entire unwritten chapters. These artifacts challenge what we think we know, and they invite us to question absolutely everything and to always stay curious. These glitches suggest our history is so much more complex, so much more mysterious than what we read about in textbooks. And it leaves us with one final lingering question. If these are the secrets that we've already found, what else is still out there, just waiting to be discovered?